Alright, well, not dogs. I have dinner cooking. I'm just in between lessons. Because I teach voice lessons once a week. And, hi Frankie. Hi. And I thought that we'd maybe go ask Dan some of your questions and comments and things like that. So let's go, track him down. I mean, he's not far. He's literally just, over that fence. Whoa, Steven! What's up? You just came flying out of the house. Did something spook yes? Are you spooked? Okay. It's okay. Well, let's go see what Dan's up to. And it's playtime for these two. Oh, you're gonna sit?
I've been working hard.
Gee, I don't think anyone's ever seen you sit. I don't even think you knew how to do that.
I have my moments.
Alright, well, it's time for you to answer some of their comments and questions. I will admit, because it's been a while since I did this, some of these might be repeats.
Okay.
Do I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Alright, Ray Perkins. Have you ever been unable to resurrect a car?
Yeah.
Wet car, maybe? Maybe a little more detail?
When I was maybe 17, I bought a 68 Firebird that was cheap. I think it was like $700, $800. And it was really rough. Really rough. Merch had talked me out of it. Said, no, I'm going to buy it. So I think I borrowed the money off him even whenever I got her home. And it was so rotten. The rear springs were through the trunk floor. And I was like, oh, I can do it. And then I don't know what happened, why I didn't get to it or whatever. I was still living with Mur. And we ended up putting it out to my aunt and uncles. And then I think they wanted it gone. I had no place for it, so it got parked there. It was shitty.
I've never heard that story before.
I regret that big time.
I had no idea.
That was a cool car. It was a straight six. It was, at the time when I said maybe 17 or 18, it was too much of a project for me at the time. I lost the car. But now, weld it up and fix it. But back then, couldn't do it.
Wow. I feel like I'm going to look at you a little bit differently now.
A failure.
Of all of your cars, this is from Scott Warren, of all of your cars, which one would you two pick for a Route 66 cruise?
We were talking about Power Tour, and the 57's probably right up there.
But Route 66?
I still think the first big trip we do has to be in the 57.
Yeah.
Whether it's Power Tour, Route 66, back to the 50s, whatever we end up going to, I think it should be that first.
Like my 57.
Yeah.
The Black Widow will not be done. Or started.
Honestly, I was saying that, like, the Plymouth is a nice driver, I gotta say.
For reference.
I've been driving every day this week.
You have been. I've been driving my car every day this week. Ooh, actually, that reminds me. We need to go get gas, I think, probably. By we, I mean you.
Thanks.
Thank you. This is from George. Ask him how he gets his hair out of the creeper wheels. Does he cut, pull, or painstakingly unwinds it from the wheels? Asking for a friend.
I do the rip motion. So you gotta do when your hair gets caught. So if it's caught like we'll show a little demonstration here. So you get her caught, you gotta just grab and you pull.
Don't rip out your hair right now.
Stay there. But you don't feel it on your scalp.
That's also what you do. That's actually one of the things they teach ladies in self-defense class. So if some guy grabs your hair at the end here, you grab it as high up at the top and you pull from there with your fist. So that he doesn't pull out your scalp. Fun fact. Scalp. Okay. Back to the questions. Oh, how to cook a steak. You don't know how to do that very good.
Ask Danny.
Fair enough.
Danny or Mur?
Yeah. What is the ultimate car that you missed out on not being able to snatch up, and do you still see it these days, and does it make you regret it even more?
You know the problem with cars? I have regret that goes on, and this is like the old man in me coming out. So when I was in high school, the girl I was dating at the time was
What?
at a grocery store.
What girl?
We're not getting into it. But anyways, and I drop her off and stuff like that here and there. So I was like 16, 17. And there was a guy that had, it was a 68 Charger. It was red, vinyl top, 3.3, automatic. It was nice, really nice. I mean, cruiser, like driver, like kind of like the quality that the Satellite is, but the paint was shiny. And I remember at the time, he was trying to sell it, and he wanted $8,000 for it. And I mean, $8,000. This is going back almost 15 years, I guess. $8,000 to a 17-year-old kid pumping gas. Like it might as well have been $30,000, right, or $100,000 now. But I couldn't patch the money together. That's when I was buying cars for about
$800.
same price I'm paying now. but yeah, that's when a couple $1,000, $2,500. Because Mike, the guy who does all the towing, he was looking at a 70 Chevelle that he passed up. I know he regrets it. I think he was like a $2,500 70 Chevelle that was like bench seat 307 but nice, and he passed up on it because it was it's not really worth it, or whatever at the time. So that 68 Charger for sure was a regret, and I can't think of any that really pop up. I haven't missed anything like you show up and it's gone or whatever, but that one stands out in my mind now that I'm a Dodge guy.
I feel like I'm hearing all these stories for the first time.
I'm sure there's lots of car stories.
That one was from Rodney Brown. Terry A says, I would love to see you put some work in on the 47. Wasn't that the first car you built?
It wasn't the first car I ever built, but that car's got a lot of sentimental value because when I bought this house, whatever money I had in the bank, I had a 72 Chevy truck, long bed, that I'd fixed up, which I sold that. And I had a 70 Monte Carlo, I sold that. And I took like all the money I had and everything, came up with it was like $17,000 or something like that, which was all the money in the world to me at the time for the down payment on this house. And then I actually drove my grandma's old car for like a full year, so I was hot rodless. The garage wasn't insulated.
And didn't you drive a tow truck during that time a little bit too?
I sold the tow truck.
Oh, okay.
I probably sold the tow truck for the money as well. I had that for a short amount of time. And yeah, so that was the first car. So I bought this house in like October, and then the whole year like the winter went by with no hot rod, no nothing, which whatever, wasn't the end of the world. Well, I bought the house in October, but I sold everything in the summer. So the whole summer went through, and then it was the following May. We were at swap meet, and that 47 was there on a trailer. And I didn't buy it there, but then a couple weeks later, it was the guy didn't sell it, so we wheeled and dealed the price, and I bought it for a couple $1,000 or whatever.
$1,000. I've got the letter in the house.
$1,000?
I have it in the house in a frame.
That might have been a BS bill to say.
Well, don't say that on camera.
Who knows what that was? Okay, it was $1,000. Yeah, that's exactly what I paid, $1,000. And yeah, so I bought that. And that guy was super cool. He gave me, I didn't have any money at the time either. And the guy was super cool, and I remember haggling with him pretty hard. Actually, Murr was funny. I remember this because we were haggling back and forth. It came down to a $100 haggle in the end because I kept going down. And I was like, hey, I got to tow it in town, man. So he gave in. And Murr was like, oh, it's pretty good. He said on the ride home or whatever. So I got that home, and it was so beat and stuff like that. But had a hot rod again, so it was pretty cool.
Making Murr proud.
I tell you what, you
haggle something?
Oh, Murr's so proud of you. If you fix something that's broke, take it apart, put it back together, and it works, or you pay less than retail, Murr's proud.
This is from Rob. Rob would like to know, what makes a car a gasser?
So, I take a lot of flack on this. A lot of it. Because I like to call the wagon a gasser, the 55 a gasser, or whatever. So many people think a gasser is straight axle, high front end type thing, which is correct, 100%. There were a lot of gasser-esque cars back in the day that were independent front ends, just lifted front ends. So the whole idea is you want the front end up so it transfers the weight backwards and stuff like that. So, are the cars we have quote-unquote gassers or whatever? No. There's this thing called nags, new age gassers, and they're kind of like more modern stuff or whatever. Maybe they fall into that class.
We got some nags.
Yeah.
What a dumb name.
At the end of the day, when I see a gasser, and if I want to say like an authentic one, you're talking something from the from the 60s or something like that. So it would be nose high, probably a straight axle, radius, wheel openings, pie crust slicks, fender well headers, a lot of things like that. That's how I would kind of look at a gasser. But here where we are, those authentic gassers are
not real.
Tricky to get on the road because there's so many rules here.
Yeah.
Like when you chop up front end like that, it's questionable if it should be on the road.
You'd be getting pulled over by vehicle inspection like instantly.
And a lot of that stuff is not really allowed.
So if you want to enjoy it.
I've always said I build the cars I can drive, not necessarily the cars I want. If there were no rules here, the cars I would have would be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like you watch like Vegas rat rods and stuff, and they have like these big diesels. I'm not really into, but like the stack straight up front, big turbo. Like you can't see out the hood. Like you need a passenger so you can make right turns because the motor's so big. Like that's awesome. This hood scoop is a big ordeal to put that. That's as much hood scoop as you can ever put on a car. They changed the rules the year I built this car. That's why. That's the biggest hood scoop you can have. Like with a ruler, it passes by a quarter inch.
So speaking of causing drama with cars, someone says a few YouTubers are feeling burnouts are destructive and a waste. How do you feel?
I'm all for it. Hey, there's no bones about it. A burnout is a senseless thing.
There's no point, but man, are they fun.
Exactly. It's like donuts. Doing donuts in the snow.
I love doing donuts in the snow.
It's like revving a motor. Why would you rev it? Ever. Like, what's the point of it? If you're trying to set the carburetor, clear it out or something like that, but when you're going and you're why? Why do you do it? There is no point for it other than it sounds cool. A burnout looks cool. Why do you have these giant tires and stuff like that? Or why do these all these lifted trucks have these big giant tires on them that never leave the pavement? It's the same thing. So those are my thoughts on it.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff I like that's stupid. Hood scoops, like whatever.
Snowplows on 55s.
Everyone has their own deal. I don't judge. If you want to do a burnout, I'm all for it, and I'll absolutely stand there and watch and cheer you on. If you don't want to do it, then so be it. It's your car. Don't beat on it. That's all there is to it. I don't know.
On that note, I also really like burnouts, as you all saw when I got to do my first burnout at Christmas time during the Christmas burnout callouts. But I still haven't done one in my 57. I need to do one because I want to see Josh from, what's his channel called? Shade Tree Mechanical. He promised me he'd go through a Starbucks drive-thru and order the exact drink I tell him to order and film it. And in a hot rod. So I need to go do a burnout so that I can see that happen. So that's probably gonna happen on my channel in a couple days or something because I feel like that's gonna be hilarious. And I'm really excited about it. Okay, well that's it for this one.